Hi everyone! In today's video, I will give you some guidelines on how to read a human design chart. When you first see it, well, at least that was my experience, I had absolutely no idea what was I looking at. However, if we break it down piece by piece, it doesn't seem so overwhelming or daunting anymore. We might actually find some clarity and start exploring. So let's go. My name is Barchi. I'm General Guide, here to inspire, empower you to be your most precious, authentic self. Usually we start from the top and then dive in. Make sure you have your human design chart ready or pause this video until you have it. And this is just one of the sites where you can get your free chart. Okay. Human design tells us how we are designed to engage with the world or how to be in the best alignment with our true nature. Here is a quick overview of some of the elements that are important. The first one is type. There are 5 human design types, which are manifestor, manifesting generator, generator, projector, and reflector. And in this case, this is a random chart. We have a projector. Okay, the next important thing is strategy. And then authority. And I'll speak about those in a second. Then this part here on the left is called a body map or body chart, where you can see we have 9 centers and 64 gates. So these are these numbers here. We also have birth chart. So this is birth chart. So on the both sides, and I'll talk about it in a second. Incarnation cross, which is here, as well as arrows. Okay, so I'll dive in from top to bottom. So let's start with the type first. Here we go. I would invite you to first look what is the name of your type, as this will give you the most basic distinction and information on how your aura looks like, how you operate and go about in your life. And there are 5 different types, as I've already mentioned. I've made a few videos on them, so do check them out if you want to know more. And there is also so much great information on the internet. Just find what suits you most. Okay, so the next thing, we have strategy. Strategy is tied to each individual type. It tells us what is the best way for that type to interact with the environment to thrive. So the not self theme is another element which is tied to a type and tells us how this person feels when they're not in alignment with their true nature, or when they aren't following their strategy and authority. That is also an emotional theme and the most challenging emotion for someone to bear when they aren't living their design. Not selfish when they aren't working against, when they are working against their natural flow or pushing in the wrong direction. And in this case, for projector, we have bitterness. All right, so then inner authority. Authority is the second most important thing one should know. Authority tells us how to decide so that our decision is aligned with our path and purpose in this life. If you don't have time or interest for anything else, do at least check type and authority. You'll get enough information to start applying it to your life and being aware of their benefits, if I may call them that. Okay, then we have profile. Profile is something worth checking to see what is your role in life and how people perceive you. There are 12 different types, which are made of conscious personality sun. And for that, we have to see this birth chart where you can see here, the first one is, you can see personality, and this is the sun side. And if you notice here, we have number 3, which matches with the number 3 here. And this 5 matches with the design side, which is unconscious. This one here, 5. And again, it tells us how we interact with the world, what our themes are, as well as how others perceive us. Yeah, and how others perceive us basically has to do more with unconscious design than our personality. Okay. So as for definition, I would skip it for now because it's not the most important thing. But in this case, we have single definition, and that just means that all of the centers they are all connected. They're all connected with gates, and I will talk about this also in a few minutes. But if there were, for example, these gates, and then let's say we would have 2 more gates that would be in color here in the head section, and for example the throat would be white, we would have split definition, which means these 2 groups of centers wouldn't be connected. Okay, so let's leave this for now. So we have incarnation cross. Here you go. And it tells us what is our plot in this lifetime, or what can be our theme. And design sun is the most potent one. If you would like to know, the story, read about the top 4 gates and see if you can form a story these gates are telling you. So just to explain, so here you see we have 36 and 6. So these are these 2. And you look just, for now, you look just for the gates. And the next one is 11 and 12, which is on this side. So if you're curious about gates, just look those 4 gates up and you might find what your story is all about. Okay, I think it's time for us to check our body graph. There you go. We have 9 centers, and as I mentioned briefly before, and also something that you might notice is that some centers have colors and some are white. So in this case, we have 3 in color and the rest 6 are in white. So the one which are colored mean they are defined. So this is the energy you bring into this life, your imprint. The energy of colored or defined centers is consistent, reliable, and recognizable. And as for undefined centers, which are white, so they are open for conditioning, but also for experiencing the whole range of what this center offers and obviously gaining wisdom from it. All right, so let's check the centers. We have first on the very top, there is head. So this is where information comes in, as well as inspiration. Then we have ajna, which is our mind, the way we think and process information. This square here, the third one, is throat center, which is about expression and manifestation. The next one, we have it in yellow color, is G center, which is center for a sense of direction and love. Just next to it, this little red triangle is our heart center, which is willpower and value center. Then we have on the left, on the right hand side, we have our solar plexus, where our emotions and how they play out. And on the opposite side, this one here, you see it's defined. On the left hand side, this triangle is called spleen, which is survival, well-being, as well as intuition center. Then we have sacral center, this one in the middle. This is where life force and reproduction take place. And if you want to kind of this is also the center which distinguish generators from the other three types, so meaning generators and manifesting generators. And I also made a video on that, so if you're curious, check it out. And the last one is root center, so this one on the very bottom. This one is adrenaline center, which tells us how do we feel about moving or trusting in divine timing to get something done. So each center has gates. Gate is this one, let's say this number here, this is called gate. And these gates are connected with other centers through channels. So these lines are called channels. A channel is formed when two gates connect with each other. So this is defined channel, and the white one here is undefined. The same thing as we had with centers. And you'll see that some channels have just one part colored. For example, this one, number 6, or number 57. There are lots of them. And again, 36. And these are called hanging gates. And we are naturally drawn to people who have the other gate, which forms a channel. And I would also say that here, for example, if we had split definition, if you remember what I said, so that there would be two sets of, for example, two sets of centers without any connection. So if there would be, for example, just if there would be a gate, just one single gate needed, to bridge that connection, and we would be very much drawn to a person who has that gate. So, so that we would connect with their energy, and our definition would be complete. I hope this makes sense. Otherwise, feel free to ask questions. Okay. So lastly, and I just wanted to say explore channels, but this is explore channels first. And the last thing I would invite you to explore is our gates. So just take it, step by step. All right. So lastly, we have birth chart, which is, this left and right thingy. And if you see there, it's made of planetary symbols, and these are also our gates. So all the gates here that are defined, you can find them here. There you go. So the left column is called unconscious design, which forms roughly 3 months before our birth. And we aren't aware, as I mentioned, we aren't aware of what it holds until we kind of reach roughly around age of 40, and then it starts revealing to us more and more. And this, the right side, the right black column is called conscious personality chart. And this is basically from the day that we were born. Okay. All right. This is enough for a good start. If you're curious, this is the last thing I haven't mentioned. So if you're curious about the arrows, I made several videos on that, so check them out. I find that information really, really useful because it digs deeper and reveals interesting and, as I said, really useful things. Okay, so I would suggest that all the information you gather, check which data overlaps, or it might overlap multiple times, because this is this might be the strongest theme in your life. Okay, that's it from me. I hope you find it useful. Let me know if you have any questions. And if I could, give you one advice only, I would say free your mind and surrender to your strategy and authority. And this is something that I have to remind myself over and over again. I promise. Okay. So, with that, thank you so much for listening. Like or subscribe if you want to. And yeah, see you next time. Bye.